laps left before you really show your hand and, you know, make a move towards the front of the field if you're in the top 3 or 2, you know, but it's just really just keeping focused and finding a way to stay safe. That's all it is. It's 169 laps. You can't jump the gun. You can't go too quickly. I do want to point out real quick, Zach Roethlisberger bound an 18th spot. Did not take a qualifying lap here, so he chose to qualify or to start at the back of the field. So that's going to be interesting, something to keep an eye on. Also, 10th and 11th, like you said, Persini and John Campbell, the two protagonists here for the championship, starting right next to each other in the middle of the field. So that could get very dicey, very spicy, very, very quickly. Yeah. So I can't wait to see those two things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget, we've got Ford Mustang of Roethlisberger, we've got the Toyota Camrys, and we've got the Chevrolet Camaros here as well. So we've got a full grid of full manufacturers, and one that is going to be incredible, I think, as well. We do love a good NASCAR race here, and what more than a Sunday evening watching these triple bypass boys hurtle around Charlotte on 169 laps. So let's see what happens when we get going and underway and ready to produce some amazing racing. As you can see, the pace car coming out now. It peels in. Here we go. Coming up now. We've got Herzog on pole position with Corey. He's keeping everybody backed up. He's gone now. He is through, and we are underway straight away here with Carl Griesik trying to touch down on the inside of Al Corey. Does make that run done there as well, and Griesik does jump Corey right at the beginning. Corey already into 3rd place, and we've got this bottom line and this top line making moves here, and we're going to have to see. Oh, no, Ryan Hyatt got a big slap there from Brian Cooper. He's all over the road at the moment. Not entirely sure what the action or the game plan was, Michael, but he did look a little bit loose there.
Yeah, that second kind of group there is let the front runners kind of get away from them because they can't stop touching each other. They just keep kind of bump drafting each other right there. And this early in the race, that's very, very, very dangerous. I'm surprised that we were able to keep any incidents out of line. You know, everybody was able to stay out of the wall, but that was very dicey there.
It definitely was. Oh, Brian Cooper again getting a little bit out of shape. They're trying to take it 3 wide back here as well with Keith Handler and Marty Rogers at the same time. And we've got Matt Perezzini on the inside, car number 24, leader of the championship, the man that's already taken the Gen 4 championship this season and is now trying to add the Cup Series to his tallies here. And, well, you've got to be honest, right? That was quite a scary start there. They could have had a full course yellow straight off the bat, and they already look like they're kind of trying to battle with each other. I'm not sure if I would want to be battling this early on with still 165 laps to go.
Yeah, it's a little early for that, but these guys have been doing it since the green flag, so they clearly aren't caring about the fact that this is the last race of the season. That's 169 laps. These guys are out there to go, and they're ready to get it. So that's exciting for us. It was very, very, very tense there for a few laps, but everybody came through on the right side of the fence, so we should be good there. Roethlisberger started down in 18th, already up into 14th place, so he's definitely been on the move. Looking at Roethlisberger, the only Ford Mustang in the field, like you said, so that's going to be interesting to see how that Mustang does compare to this very Chevy-heavy field. So it's going to be interesting to see that. Lots of Chevys out here today. Also, Kyle Griesik, man, he had such an amazing start there, but nothing compared to Barton. Barton all the way up into first place now, up 4 spots. Only 6 laps into this, so this has definitely been a very, very, very good start for quite a few drivers.
Yeah, so here we are. You can see the gaps on the track. You can see where the cars are as well. The back pack here in 5th place with Ryan Hyatt have kind of managed to get themselves sorted out. We've got some of them trying to conserve tyres and run around the high line. Others are taking that short inner line as well, as Marty Rogers goes and taps the wall there as these guys go flying through. and the top 4 you can already see have opened up a bit of a gap. It's 1.8 seconds back from the leader to this man, Ryan Hyatt, sitting in 5th place at the moment. What have they got to try and do this early on? You know, we've obviously got the likes of Perezzini trying to come through the field. Roethlisberger wants to make moves through the field as well. John Campbell has not had a great start to this. He's down 3 and down in 14th place at the moment. He's obviously another one within the main protagonists of the championship. You know, yeah. I know we talk about racing, and I know you talk about the fact that, you know, should they be racing earlier on? What they clearly are. They're not holding back any point at this moment in time.
No, they are not holding anything. They're all out there for the knockout punch. It is kind of interesting to see Perezzini go one way. You know, he's up 1 spot, but just like you said, Campbell falling back to 14th position. So that's huge. He needs to move up and really push for a victory here. So he, out of anybody in the field. Oh, we see somebody in the wall there. Is that Hyatt? I think Hyatt, yeah, was in the wall.
Yeah, I think Hyatt was running the inside line of the wall there. It didn't bring out a full course yellow. Mr. Bro, yo. He's put yo to you too, dude. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's have a quick look.
Mr. Bro.
Yeah, Mr. Bro says yo. Oh!
That was a hard hit.
Yeah.
Oh, he catches the inside wall too, and that is, ooh, yeah, that.
I'm surprised we haven't got a full course yellow. We have now.
Yeah.
We have got a full course yellow now. So
that was a tough hit.
So
obviously that's toe link damage there. No question about that. That car is not going to be steering. That's why he hit the inside wall and it was into the wall a second time on the outside too. So.
Yeah, now this saying, no, that just stopped. Oh, there it was.
Joshua corner. Oh, did he get spun?
Is that Roethlisberger?
Oh, there's quite a few people involved in that.
Yeah, Crutchley and Cat as well. I'm wondering if we have a look here, whether or not Roethlisberger may have been involved in that, and he was. And then you've got Crutchley and Cat at the same time. So it wasn't all Kona's fault on his own there. He was gently helped around, shall we say, by Roethlisberger there as well. So it was here with Kona. He comes up. Roethlisberger's behind
He's already
him.
loose there.
And
yeah, no, Roethlisberger's gets into his quarter panel there. Just shoots him straight into the wall. There's nothing that quarter can do. Then Derek Cat takes a little damage from him, from the spinning car, and then just gets into our Crutchley there, and not really anything either that the 48 or the 2 car could really do. And so we see there the 68, the go to IHOP car there. That's John Barton. Absolutely just getting through with just complete luck there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the first caution on lap 9. Yeah, the first caution.
Yep.
Well, lap 10.
Joshua corner.
Yeah.
I got loose after turn 4. Yep, he definitely got loose, and yeah, Roethlisberger just didn't have any place to go. You know, he had a good run there, and you know, Josh just got loose. It's just a racing incident, really.
Yeah, the rest, as they say, is history. I wonder if I can have a quick chat with Matt Perezzini. Am I going to be chancing my luck pulling Matt in to the booth here? Let's have a quick chat, and just so he knows he's going to be coming in, I've dropped him in the waiting room. Matt, you are up in the booth with myself, James, and Michael. How are you? Matt?
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm all right. I thought I'd pull you in for a quick chat while we're on a caution. What's the plan, Matt? Leading the championship, got to get in the top 10. Is that the aim?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're not going to be taking any huge risks or anything like that tonight. You know, we're just going to try to get a good, decent finish out of it and try to bring home this championship.
Yeah, it's a long shot with obviously John Campbell in the mix as well. He's quite a few cars back currently at the moment, so it's going to be tough. Already wrapped up the Gen 4 championship, I hear.
Yes, we managed to wrap up the Gen 4 Championship on Thursday, so we're trying to wrap up 2 of the 3 in triple bypass for Season 1, so that's the goal, and hopefully we can get that done tonight.
You're going to go for the double here this evening as well. Well, Matt, you've got a long way to go here. Do we think, I want a quick question, pitting under green, going to be a real possibility?
Oh yeah, with this group, pitting under green is definitely a real possibility.
Well, there you go, Matt. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you get back and enjoy the rest of the race.
All right, guys. Thanks for doing broadcast tonight.
Take care. Right, there we go. Quick chat with Matt Perezzini, sitting currently in 7th place. I think that, Michael, to be honest, that was a sensible thing, wasn't it? Try and stay out of trouble. Don't get yourselves involved and just try and take the championship.
Yeah, there's no real reason to risk the biscuit. He can just kind of chill, just get himself into the top 10, just get himself comfortable in the race, stay out of trouble, and the championship's yours. 2 for 3. Can't complain about that. So, yeah, it's a very wise decision. It's the right decision, and sure, a lot of us want to see him go racing, but the goal is to win a championship, and he's got to do what he's got to do that.
Yeah, well, Griezik's already gone. Everybody else was caught napping there, and Grizik just decided, I've had enough. I'm on my bike. You lot can sit there and have a chat and drink some tea. But Carl Grizik has already gone. He's already left the field here as well, opening up nearly 7 tenths over Mark Hertzhoff, Keith Hanlon, Dustin Barton, Al Corey, and then David Shell with Matt Perezzini in 7th place currently at the moment. Now, I want to pick up, you said something that made me laugh, Dave, like when you said about 2 championships out of 3. There's only one man that ever said that, and that was Meatloaf. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
Yeah. Actually, didn't Meatloaf just pass away last year? Was it last year?
Possibly. I don't know.
I feel like it was really recently, yeah. Whenever I think of Meatloaf, I always think of Bob from Fight Club, so my mind always goes, I know he's a famous musician, everybody knows him, but I always just, like, my mental image of Meatloaf is just Bob from Fight Club, so it always throws me off when people talk about Meatloaf.
Yeah, he died in January 20th, 2022 at the age of 74.
Was he really that old? Wow, that's impressive. I didn't know he's that old.
It's surprised he got there, to be fair. Let's be real about it. I think most of us are surprised he got that far up in there. But at the end of the day, he was amazing. And Bow Hell is still, whenever you mention Meatloaf, you kind of forget everything else that he did in songs, and you do think of Bow Hell here as well. But Carl Grizik, back to the racing, of course, because we have got one heck of a race going on. As you can see, these guys are spread out across the track here and doing an absolute stellar job. I've got to be honest, as it's mid-pack field here with Benson and Perezzini, Campbell here, the 24 of Perezzini sitting right in there currently in the moment, and this is what he sees in front of him. This is Al Corey in front, the number 45 as well.
Looked like a car was into the wall again.
Yeah, was that Mike Rogers?
I think that was Josh. Was it Rogers? I thought it was Corner coming out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the 4 car. But yeah, it's also interesting to see Perezzini drop back to 10th place. We right along board with him. He was up there fighting for 6th place. And then it's interesting to see there's so many different lines that drivers can take here at Charlotte. So you could be running your line and everything could be fine, and then all of a sudden the high line is the faster line, and then you kind of get held out and lose a couple spots, and then it kind of shifts back to the bottom line. So it's very interesting to see what these drivers are doing, and as their tires wear out, which line they find more comfortable.
Yeah, Roethlisberger is up into 6th place. He's now plus 12 on where he started. You see Roethlisberger straight in front of us, the number 93 car has got the 002 of Oliver Turan right beside him here. There's no real gap here for Perezzini. You can see it live on the onboard. If there's going to be a gap, he's got to force one. I'm not entirely sure where that would be at the moment, because the way these cars are sat, there's just no gap to even try and force. He can make a dive up the middle and hope they leave him room, but that alone would be just crazy. I think from Perezzini's point of view, everything he does tonight needs to be thought through, needs to be calculated, needs to be able to do it safely as well, Michael. I think that's the biggest thing for Perezzini this evening.
Yeah, he definitely can't be scared, but he's got to be very cautious at the very least. He's got to be paying attention to every little aspect of all the cars that are around him, that little twitch there from the 002, you know, Pericini's got to be all over that, you know, out of the corner of his eye. Just completely just on a different level right now of, you know, taking this race into consideration. But yeah, I also do want to point out real quick, I'm looking here at the standings, the season standings coming into tonight. Zach Roethlisberger, we talked about it, we mentioned him earlier in the broadcast, started 18th, he's moved up to 6th place, so he's what, plus 12, I think you just said? Yeah, plus 12 right now. He's raced in 7 races this season. He's got 5 top 10s, 5 top 5s, and 4 wins. So he's only raced in 7 races, but 4 of those 7 races he finished in the #1 spot. And he's showing why right now, all the way up into 5th place. So, you know, just starting from the back of the pack in the final race of the season, maybe you just want to have some fun tonight and just show what could have been. Maybe if he's able to run those extra 3 races, maybe we're having a bit of a closer championship fight here tonight between him and Pericini.
Yeah, I think this is where this league here shows off when we talk about IR in iRacing. Why isn't important, right? We've got Roethlisberger 6K, okay, flat out 6K IR, and then we've got Pericini winning the championship here, won the Gen 4 already on Thursday, and he's sitting down at 1.3K. Now that alone shows you the irrelevance of iRating when it comes to racing, because clearly you would have thought Roethlisberger, if he had been here for every race, he would have just run away with it. But Pericini's, you know, at 1.3K, it just shows that that's an irrelevant scoring system when you're trying to compare the driver ability.
I think in a situation like this oval type racing, I definitely agree with you. I think when it comes to a couple different types of racing, I think it does mean a little bit more. But I agree, for the most part, that the iRating really is kind of pointless when trying to compare these drivers, because just like you said, 1,300 iRating out in front of the championship, and you got, you know, Zach Roethlisberger sitting back in, 10th place right now overall in the championship, even though he's got 4 wins. So yeah, it's kind of luck of the draw, really. It doesn't really mean that much because, as we know, public lobbies and league lobbies are completely different. So, you know, the amount of comfort that you get when racing against the same people week after week after week, compared to just jumping into a public lobby and having to, you know, have your eyes in the back of your head at all times and still getting dive bombed and just like absolute craziness. And I mean, obviously iRacing is not as bad as some other, you know, racing games, but it's just a complete night and day difference when you can join a league and be comfortable night and week in and week out with this, being able to race cleanly with the same group of guys out there. Yeah,
absolutely. I fully agree as well. League racing is just a different story altogether, as we're on board here with Jason Benson in the 42 Chevy. Got Al Corey in front of him currently as well. Corey down 8 on his grid start. So massive drop from Corey there, but you can still see the leaders, which is always good. And, you know, hopefully shouldn't have any problems. But we'll go back up into the Roethlisberger Turin Pericini battle here for 5th, 6th and 7th place. Roethlisberger hasn't made the move forward like I thought he would do onto the back of Mark Herzog once he cleared through the traffic. Don't get me wrong, you can see him in the right-hand corner of your picture there, so he's not exactly too far back, but I thought it would have been a little bit closer once he cleared it at the end of the day. But Turan is still not letting him go, Michael. He's still running him. He's still keeping him honest, you know, and that's the thing here. Although they're spread out at the moment, you can see it's basically 6.8 seconds to Barton, who was in 15th at the moment. John Barton there down in 15th place in the Camry. You know, there's still not a massive gap. It's not insurmountable when we talk about gaps in NASCAR. You know, if we looked at a 6.2 gap in a road circuit, you'd have a completely different concept of what we're talking about. But 6.2 gap in a NASCAR is just, well, it's almost irrelevant because anything can happen.
Yeah, and the draft is so much more important. So if you can get that hookup with the car in front of you, it's just going to drag you in. We just saw, we were talking about Turin, and I'm sorry, we were talking about Roethlisberger and Turin there, and Roethlisberger not making any leeway. And as you're having that thought, as you're saying that, we're sitting here watching Roethlisberger do exactly the opposite because he was able to get into that draft of the 57 car right in front of him. And this is just bringing him into play. He's got a strong opportunity here to make his way, not obviously he's already in the top 5, but up into the top 3 and possibly up to the front of the field. What a run this would be. Staying to the inside, though, so I do worry about his tires starting to go off maybe a little bit sooner than some of the drivers that have been holding that outside line, but it doesn't seem like it's bothering him too much at this point in the race. So maybe that's not really becoming an issue as we see. Oh, Barton got really wide there, almost hit the wall.
Yeah, 3 wide at one point there as well with Hamlin in the middle. And Barton,
look at that.
Yeah, Roethlisberger sneaks up and makes the most of that opportunity given to him. Again, something you've got to do here. You take the opportunity while you can and you sneak up, and he's done it, and he's now slipped himself up into 3rd place. 33 laps already gone here, and basically we are starting to get into the the bad tyre window, as we've been told they will last 40 laps here. Perezzini further back as well, with Barton now at one point were 3 wide. Barton and Hanlon sending it 3 wide there. Perezzini backed out of that one and was just like, no, thank you very much. I am sitting on top of the championship. There's no way I'm making an opportunity here as well. I think that's probably the best thing. John Crutchley, of course, our sponsor for this evening. So massive thanks to John for tonight's sponsorship. And he is sponsored tonight's race in that 48, is currently sitting down in 13th place with Brian Cooper in the 96. You can see them both there on your screen together, sitting here currently as well in 12th and 13th place. They are slowly dropping back though, Michael. You know, we talk about it on the BSC that we do on a Tuesday with me and Kenton, and we talk about how a pack, dropping off a pack, could highly affect your race, because a pack of 6, the airflow difference between a pack of 2 is completely different. You know, from Cooper's point of view, he's got to try and lock up to Crutchley and push him forward, but Crutchley seems to be going that little bit more quicker, where he's kind of doing it solo almost, isn't he?
Yeah, you really got to be careful. Once you start losing touch with the car in front of you, you really have no real chance of making up that ground, because the draft is so strong in NASCAR, especially someplace here, you know, 1.5 miles. So these cars, oh, and it looks like, oh, what's that? I thought I saw somebody in the wall there just a moment ago, but Herzog now up front, as we jump up front here, has Roethlisberger breathing down his neck. He's had Roethlisberger behind him this entire time, ever since Roethlisberger got into the top 5. So these two have moved up to the front of the field together in unison almost. So it's going to be interesting to see if maybe Roethlisberger is going to try to make the move, or just kind of hang out a little bit longer, serve his tires a little bit, enjoy the benefit of that draft, and just wait for the pit stop cycle to start happening.
Yeah, what would you do? Michael, you come into a race, you're at the top of the championship, you know, you're winning the championship here by 17 points. What would you do in this current situation? How would you be driving this?
I mean, I would not be scared to drive. I'd want to, make sure that I'm not on the cusp of that. I don't want to be sitting in 9th place if 10th place is the last place that I have. I want to move up the field just like Perezzini's doing, but I want to do it as carefully as possible. We saw him back out of a 3 wide situation there just a couple laps ago, and that's the right move to make. Push, sure, you want to be comfortable. You want to know for sure that you're gonna win that championship, but there's no reason to take any stupid mistakes right now. There's no reason to force anything. Just kind of hang out right now. He's sitting in 5th place, perfect. He could afford to lose a spot or two here in the pit rotation that we're about to come onto, and not have to be stressing about anything. So just keep your cool, keep your head down, and just stay out of trouble. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I think from Perezini's point of view. I'd be looking at probably staying whereabouts I am in 5th if I can, without any troubles here as well. Roethlisberger has just gone past Herzog and has now taken the lead. He's grabbed the ball by the horn and is now running and trying to get away. Is he going to be able to get away? That's going to be a different story altogether. But we will see as it goes on. Herzog down 1 position from where he started on pole, of course. Grizik still in the same place in 3rd. Keith Hanlon, Matt Perezini up 4 and 5 respectively. Ryan Hyatt is down 12. He's down in 16th at the moment, and it was qualified in 4th place, unfortunately for him, but he is down after, well, he hit the wall, but he didn't hit one wall, he hit both walls, the inside and the outside. So there we go, as Brian Cooper has just gone, but got overtaken by John Barton. Barton moving ahead here in 14th place at the moment as well. He's got a long way fight back, mind you, to get onto the back with Crutchley, but we've still got a long way to go in the race as Roethlisberger, Herzog, Grizik, Hanlon, Perezini, Shell, Turan, Corey, Benson and Barton round out your top 10 here. Favourite oval track, Michael? What's your favourite oval track?
Probably Richmond, just because I kind of grew up in Northern Virginia, not too far away, you know, a couple hours away from Richmond. Yeah, I'd probably say Richmond.
Oh, okay.
Just has a nice spot in my heart.
Yeah?
What about you? Do you have a favorite oval?
To drive, I think it's because obviously, obviously being in the UK, I haven't been to these tracks. So to drive, I've got to say I do love a bit of Daytona. Not gonna lie, but there's also a little bit in my heart that tells me that I love Darlington. Now, I know that's not everybody's cup of tea. Don't get me wrong. I fully appreciate that as well. But there's just something about Darlington. I don't know what it is, but I do like it. I like the fact it's a different kind of oval. It's a more triangular oval shape. It's different compared to everything else, and I think that's got to be one that's kind of a little bit of a favour as well, I think. Okay.
I'm a little concerned, but we'll move on from there.
Why are you concerned?
I always feel like me and you just can never. Like we were in such a nice groove of finally agreeing on tracks.
Yeah.
And then you had to drop Darlington on me. I'm not a fan of Darlington.
Well, I can't really answer about Richmond because I've never driven it. Now, obviously, I don't live there, so I'm taking it off experience.
Well,
of driving.
I don't live there anymore.
I know, but I'm just saying, taking it off. It's like I don't live in Brazil, but I love it in Lagos. So
Well, I mean that's that's quite the drive there. You know what's funny though is Darlington. Let me see here. I don't think I'm more than an hour and a half away from Darlington.
And you've never been?
I've never been. No.
Man, I live down in the middle of the countryside in the UK, and the nearest track's like 2.5, 3 hours away from me, like Silverstone and all that. And then when we go further up than that with Owen and Croft and all that, they're miles away. But
that's about the same distance for me.
Yeah, but there seems to be a racetrack near everybody I talk to in America. I speak to Ryan
there's a
O'Connor,
lot of small like oval tracks and stuff like that.
I speak to Ryan O'Connor and he's like, yeah, I'm going to Chicago for the NASCAR. I said, why? He said, purely because I want to see how they're going to make it work. I was like, okay, fair enough. Go for your life. That's coming up, at the end of the month, 1st of July, I believe, is the Chicago debut of the Chicago Street Circuit here as well. So, I don't know, there just seems to be more there, more tracks that you can go and visit. I don't know. I'd love to go to Watkins. I'd love to watch a race at Watkins Glen. I think that would be incredible.
Okay. If you ever come to stateside, you and I can go to Watkins. Like I got a place for us to stay just a couple hours away from there. That one, yeah. I would love to go to Watkins with you.
Yeah, I think
let's
that would
go.
be amazing.
Let's go.
Absolutely
Do an
amazing.
IMSA race or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I wonder what their schedule is, because I'm supposed to be heading to, well, how far away are you from Chicago?
From Chicago?
Mm.
That's
You're going to tell me
Let's
it's a
see.
trek now, aren't you?
oh yeah. I'm not sure if you realize how big the United States are, but
Mate, I don't give over.
I'm just saying. Okay, the United States is basically bigger than Europe.
Well, everything's bigger than Europe in conjunction. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean?
If you're not including Russia, yeah.
Where are you then?
I'm in the southeast, so I'm in South Carolina. So hold on.
We're flying,
Yeah.
aren't we?
But I got family in Western New York, not too far away from Watkins Glen.
Okay.
So Myrtle Beach to Chicago. Let's see here.
Oh, Chicago to Watkins Glen's only a 9-hour if you're going to drive.
Well, it's 14 and a half. Chicago is 14 and a half hours for me.
Oh, good blimes. It's a long old way, wasn't it? You know what I mean? I think that's a trip we might have to put on the back burner.
That's a flight. That's not a drive.
Yeah, that's definitely a
back
jump
on
plane.
track here. Let's get back here. The Persini back in 6th place right now, right on the tail here of Shell, but not really being too aggressive, but keep in touch with this group of cars here, and just racing smart. I like everything that Matthew Persini's done so far tonight, and I think if he's able to continue this, then the championship obviously is in the bag for him.
Yeah, I think it's weighing up what we talk about generally most weeks and most races of risk and reward. You know, if he risks it for a biscuit, he's going to possibly end up taking himself out. And once he does that, the championship is, you know, it's made harder. There we go. I'll use that term. It's made harder. Where is if he's got the pace and he's just picking these drivers off bit by bit by bit. You know, he's not making any stupid mistakes. Brian Cooper there as well has just gone past him in the 96. Brian has been into the pits as well. So, you know, there's been a cycle of pit stops. Obviously on lap 11 under the caution, they all dived in here as well. So we're going to be looking at if they're coming in for fuel on lap 11 and they filled up, the tank's going to go from 70, so it's going to be round about lap 81 on their next move. If they've taken tyres on lap 11, the tyres will start dropping off, well, any time from now, give or take, right? You know, we're well above our best lap times at the moment. Perezzini's doing a 30.3. 4 was his best, his last was a 31.5, so he's already near enough 1.3 seconds away from what his best lap times are. So obviously there's dead kicking in and there's a drop off on pace, right? So in hindsight, anytime now, these drivers will have to look at coming in for tyres. They would have probably already taken one set. They've got 3 to get to the end of the race. So 56 takes them to 96, and then they've got to try and go a long old way out to 169 on the final set. Gonna be difficult, right? You know, they've got to be sensible about it. I don't know if I'd be pushing this early on. I know we're at lap 57, and so we're already, you know, coming into that 60 lap mark. But for me personally, I would be happy where I'm sat with Perezzini. I think this is a good spot for him, and I think it's ideal that he can kind of just sit there and basically, you know, think about what he's got to do, where he's got to get to, you know, maybe depending on what he's thinking about, he might be thinking about what he had for dinner, I don't know. But at the end of the day, he's doing an absolutely stellar job, and one that I don't think really he needs to worry about too much, as we can just see how fast these cars are going. They're whizzing past us here, coming down into turn 1. As they go whizzing past the camera there as well.
Ryan Persini, like you said, definitely in a great spot. He does have the 75 of Ryan Hyatt right behind him, but Ryan is multiple laps down, so that's not an issue here. Okay, sorry, he's 1 lap down. So he's not an issue right now. He's trying to unlap himself. Then you got Corey about 4.5 seconds back. So if you're Persini, like, you're in a great spot here. If you want to let the 75 go by, it's no skin off your back. You know, there's no real reason to fight too hard here. If Ryan Hyatt's, you know, lapping a little quicker, you got to save those tires right now. You got to conserve. I think if it was my decision, I would not have taken tires in the first caution. I would have fueled up, but I would not have taken tires. And I want to stretch this first stint as long as I possibly can, because that's just going to give me fresher rubber longer into the race, and fresher rubber, most importantly, at the end of the race. We're going about 70 laps here on a full tank of fuel, so that's going to put us at what? If you stopped at 11, 81. That's going to put you at 81. Okay, so now you got another 70 laps, assuming we stay green. You got another 70 laps from there. So you're looking at a final pit stop a final stint that's going to be about 20, 30 laps at most. You want to have fresh rubber, and you want to have low amount of fuel for that stint. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these drivers are able to do. But if I'm in the wheel, if I'm making that decision, I was not taking tires on that first caution flag. I was just stopping for fuel.
Yeah, a little bit worried about Ryan Hyatt here. He did have just a big old blink for a minute. It disappeared for a good half a lap in front of Perezzini. I'm probably guessing that's not what Perezzini wants, I'm not going to lie. Doesn't want a blinking car. And that's not blinking as in, where's my blinking socks? It's blinking as in, he is actually physically, the spikes in his internet that's causing him to disappear and then come back on track again. He doesn't want to be doing that. You know, and Perezzini surely doesn't want a piece of that. So from Perezzini's point of view, I'd be looking at possibly maybe trying to either stay away from the car in front of me currently at the moment, or pass him and get the job done and move out, because he doesn't want to be stuck behind that car as we see him coming into the pits under green here as well. What's the leaders going to do if Perezzini started coming in? Are they going to be coming in very shortly?
Yeah, I think Perezzini is under a lot less pressure to push this first stint out. So I think the leaders, if you're Roethlisberger or Hertz, if you're Herzog, you're waiting for Roethlisberger to pull the trigger. You're trying to...
That's what I mean. I think they're trying to copy each other, wouldn't they? I think it's more of a cover-off than it is trying to undercut or overcut.
Yeah, I think this is all just a mind game here, and they definitely want to push this stint as long as they can, but they don't want to come in too early and have it, like, ruin their opportunity here. If you're Herzog, you're waiting for Roethlisberger. You're pushing it as far as you possibly can. And if you're Roethlisberger, you're doing the same thing, but you're playing the mind game. Maybe you don't want to fake going into the pits, because obviously that's probably not allowed in the rule books, I would assume. But you want to play the mind game. You want to make Herzog overthink this move. You want to make him, duck in a little too early. That way you can push this stint out a little further, and it gives you that advantage. But I mean, we've seen these times drop off about a full second from their best laps. So maybe coming in sooner and getting that fresh rubber is going to help Herzog. So it's really just a battle of wits right now.
Yeah, it definitely
it's
is.
A chess match.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, is who's going to be able to knock out the king first, to be honest, because this whole process of pit cycles fascinates me, because you sit down at the moment and you worry about the fact that Perezzini's a lap down, and then you forget that Roethlisberger's got to go in, Herzog's got to go in, Griezik's has got to go in. So there's still a lot to play for here.
Herzog is definitely doing a great job. Just keep in touch with Roethlisberger, not let him get too far away. Holding on to that draft. We talked about IR rating earlier, and we said how, like, in a situation like this, it doesn't really matter too much.
No.
But I do still think it needs to be said that Mark Herzog is doing a great job holding on to Roethlisberger, and Roethlisberger is literally double his IR rating. So, I mean, fair play there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got good, that's the thing with iRacing. You take it as a base and you work off it, and you think, okay, so, he's quicker, whatever way round it is. But at the end of the day, when you come into the race, it could be a completely different story. Do you know what I mean? A completely different story. It's like we've got Marty Rogers at nearly 2K, and then Marty Rogers at 2K, and then Derek Catt at 920. But yet they're racing the same bit of tarmac currently at the moment. The same with David Schell up here, racing away with the likes of Carl Griesig at 2.4. He's 2.4. Al Corey's 2. So, from Al Corey's situation, he's down on the position. And then you've got John Crutchley, who's 1.3 here, holding out currently in 6th place. So I just think at some points IR is relevant, and at some points it's just completely just a guideline. Take it as a guideline, and I've done with it there as well. But we are still waiting here for the leaders to go in. I'm surprised they haven't gone in already, with the fact that the lap times have dropped off to 1.3 seconds from their best times.
Yeah, but these guys are pretty confident, so maybe they're just holding out here. They're able to hold that bottom line, so we know that those tires are pretty badly degraded, but obviously they're still holding on enough to keep that bottom line comfortable. So yeah, I think we will be seeing these two pit very, very shortly here, but I'm really not surprised that they're holding out as long as they are, just simply for the mind game. But I mean, eventually here they are going to have to stop. A bunch of these drivers are going to get that lap back. It's going to be very interesting as we see these cars kind of cycle through these green flag pit stops. But yeah, it kind of mixes up the field quite a bit. But I'm glad that we're seeing the green flag pit stops. You know, it makes things way more interesting than everybody just coming in at the same time and not really having any strategy because, you know, everybody's just following the flags.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with the fact that we don't get many flags here. I think that's the situation. If there was, you know, if we knew that there was going to be more flags, they would be quite happy to deal with that. But we don't see many. You know, we've seen one.
I personally think that's great. I like green flag racing when it comes to NASCAR, especially. I've never really been a big fan of the stage setup. I like the older, you know, version where you have a 500 mile race and you're racing for 500 miles straight, you know. So it's just something that I've always thought that I wish that NASCAR would go back to. So seeing it here in action in the Triple Bypass Racing League it's really, really, really comforting to me. It makes me feel like I'm a kid again.
Yeah, it definitely does. And there's a nice little tidy battle with Oliver Turan, Ryan Hyatt, and also there's not Perezzini involved in that. That's the 01 car of David Schell here. So it's got to be a little bit careful. You don't want to get yourself kind of involved in that, and that is not helping. That blinking there from Hyatt, who knows nothing about what's going on, and I'm sure he's probably been told by the other guys in the race at the moment, hey mate, this is happening here, please be a bit careful, because the last thing you really want is for that internet issue that he's not aware of to cause anyone else a problem around him currently at the moment. Now these guys were close together, they're slightly more spread out. We've still got these Roethlisberger and Herzog battling away at the front of the field, Michael. I think this is going to be a continual run until one of them makes that move into the pit stop. If they were going on the 70 laps, they are going to be looking at around about lap 81 here. So another 6 laps, and I think these guys should be in the pits.
Just moments ago, they both ran a 31.52. That last lap, Zach Roethlisberger ran a 31.56. Mark Herzog, yep, 31.52. So these guys are running very consistent lap times here. So it's very interesting to see, but I think you're right. We're going to see one of these two dive down in the pit lane here momentarily. Yeah. It's just coming to the end of that stint, and there's not really anything else they can do. They can't hold out forever.
No, they can't, unfortunately. When the tank says it's empty, the tank says it's empty. It's definitely not going to be able to get on. We've got Corey in the pits. We've got Crutchley in the pits as well. Everybody is lapped basically up until Turan in 5th place. Oliver Turan there has also been lapped. So it's Barton who is currently the only man left with Schell Herzog on the lead lap currently. So that's going to be an interesting...
Also not pitted though.
Sorry?
Those drivers also haven't pitted.
No.
Well, Barton might have, but...
No, yeah.
Schell and Herzog and Roethlisberger, obviously, that's why they've been able to lap the entire field so quickly, is because they've stayed out and everybody else has come in.
Yeah. So I am surprised they're not in. I've got to be honest, but as I say, they can get to about lap 81 if they fuel max on a fuel tank. It depends on, obviously, from Herzog's situation, how much fuel he's managing to save behind Roethlisberger here. So there's all that to play into consideration from Herzog as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a big hit on the wall there. I think he got away with it, but that was a big hit to his rear right quarter panel here. But obviously able to conserve a little bit more gas while he's using that draft. He's able to kind of coast a lot more, but I mean, you can only stretch that gas, that fuel out so long. I think, wow, yeah, they're still both staying out. This is very, very tense here between the two of them. They must be really just trying to push it to that lap 80, lap 81 marker. As we see, they're on lap 79 here, so they really can't go very much further than this.
No, they definitely can't. It's got to be coming soon, I would have thought. 2 more laps and they would have been into the pits. And I think, yeah, they're going to be definitely got to be under pitting at some point here as well. David Shell has now also gone in to the pits, and Barton has also gone in as well. So we see Herzog almost playing with Roethlisberger there, nearly getting close to him, nearly making the decision to go for it, and then backs out and then does not, and then these guys are the only ones left on the lead lap, I should say, here with Roethlisberger and Herzog. Herzog running the top line now, trying to, whoa, there we go. He has managed to save fuel. Roethlisberger's in.
It's going to be Herzog's last lap here, I would assume, coming around on lap 81. But that was a late dive into the pits for Roethlisberger, so not sure if they have to announce that or not. We'll have to look at the rule books here, but that was a very late lunge into the pits. So Herzog, I'd be surprised if maybe he pushes one out, but once Roethlisberger gets out of the pits on fresh rubber, it's going to be pointless to stay out there because you are so far behind.
Yeah, he's now dropped in.
He is coming in.
Yeah. I think that's the right thing to do now as well. And he's managed to enter the pits cleanly as well. He's not come in with a group of 5 or 6 cars, and he's decided that enough, I'm going to come in, and he comes in on his own. And this is where these lap drivers will get this lap all back as well, which puts Perezzini currently in prime spot, sitting in second place at the moment. Obviously pitted way before these gentlemen. He pitted down on lap 62, so 20 lap old tyres already here for Perezzini. And you know, it's going to be, obviously that's going to make a sizable difference. The guys have obviously pushed out as far as they can go, and Perezzini pushed out to lap 62.
Yeah, and we're seeing the field really start to even back out. All those drivers that were a lap down have all gotten their lap back now. Roethlisberger back into 6th place here. Herzog falling all the way back into 12th place. So staying out that long really didn't help them that much this early in the race. But that is definitely going to come in handy towards the end of the race here when they're on fresher rubber.
Yeah, definitely. Be interested to see how this one's going to pan out now. Because obviously 62, we can go 30 laps. Oh!
And we have our second caution of the night, and we'll have to see what happened there.
Well, I don't think it's Herzog coming out of the pits here. Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. Is he able to keep it out of the wall? So why did we get the caution? He was down on the apron. Does tap the wall a little bit, and maybe it's because it goes up.
It's what they've...
That was a very, very, very innocent-looking situation there. So I'm not really sure why we got the caution there. I really thought that he had stayed down below the apron, and yeah, I'm not too sure. But Perezzini up there in the front, up 9 positions, but obviously we have quite a bit more race to go. And
is
quite
this
a few
where
more,
Perezzini would take another stop?
Get him back onto this. I think right now he's probably going to want to keep track position, wouldn't he?
I would have thought so. I would have thought so as well on that one. And we're going to bring...
I think it's a little early to make that pit stop. We'll see right here momentarily. Is he going to stay out? He is going to stay out, but a couple other cars are coming down to the pits, so we're going to see quite a few people make that decision. Actually, a majority of the field is coming down to the pit lane, so only a couple drivers are staying out. This is going to work out very, very well for Zach Roethlisberger up in the 4th place here. He had just pitted.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to bring John Crutchley into the booth. I'll let you stop the car, John, before we speak. There you go. Good job. Hey, John, welcome in. How are you? Ooh.
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thought I'd bring you in for a quick chat while you're getting your tyres done and your visor polished and all that. You know what I mean? How's the race going for you?
Oh, it's fantastic. I had a little bump in the beginning of the race, which caused me to stay back a little while. But I think I'm going to start going forward now. I'm getting my optional repairs done right now.
Well, that's not a bad move. Of course, John, the sponsors of tonight's race as well. Thank you very much for that one. Much appreciated here as well. I am loving your Pit Cruise Buzz Lightyear outfits. Not going to lie. I think they look good.
Thank you, mate. Thank you so much for the broadcast, and I really appreciate it. It's been a great race so far. You guys are doing fantastic.
What's the, thank you very much for that there. What's the plan for you, John? What's going forward? What are you hoping for coming out of this?
Well, right now I'm trying to get my optionals done, and I'm just going to try to go forward. I was trying to save some tires. I was trying to save a little bit of tires, and I think I did pretty well. So I kind of got a little number of how many laps I can go.
Okay, mate. How many? So what are we looking at now? Are you fueled to the end, John? Do you think?
No, I am not. I'm about 7 laps short.
Ooh. Never mind. Well, you give it your best shot, John. We'll look forward at moving you forward there, bud. Thank you so much for joining us in the booth.
Thank you so much, guys.
Take care.
You too.
All right, there we go. He's 7 laps short of fuel, Michael.
So if I'm his crew chief, I'm stopping him. If he's got 7 laps, that gets him to what, 162? I think I'm stopping him around 152 to give him fresh rubber to the end of the race.
You are asking him to go a long way on tyres, mind you.
Well, I mean, maybe he gets another caution. Maybe he's able to hold on. But we saw quite a solid stint there in that first round from Zach Roethlisberger and from Herzog as well, Mark Herzog, who obviously we had that incident there, and I think Mark Herzog is definitely in a lot of trouble here as we kind of sort things out. Looks like he's back in 16th place right now.
Yeah, it definitely is in 16th. We're just watching John get there. Is in 14th with Ryan Hyatt, who's trying to catch up to the field in 15th place here. The second caution thrown on lap 82 here, and currently that puts Perezzini in prime position for the lead of the race. The man, of course, done the Gen 4 Championship on Thursday. He's going for the double here this evening. I am a bit worried about his tyres. Don't get me wrong, he's on 25 lap-old tyres already.
Yeah, sure, but he doesn't need to win this race to win the championship.
No,
so
that is a plus.
He can kind of just run this smart. Maybe not have to defend too hard and just keep his tires in check, run them as long as he can, but obviously stay comfortable. I have no problem with him making that early pit stop because he's got enough sets of tires to get to the end.
Yeah.
All he's got to do is just stay within that top 10. So there's no pressure here. Even though he's out front, no pressure whatsoever. Just don't over defend.
Yeah, don't overcook it, basically. That's the last thing he wants to be doing here as well, leading it off because, yeah, you're just nearly over halfway currently at the moment. Yeah, we've gone past halfway, actually, if my maths is correct. 14, yeah, give or take. So...
I'm interesting to see Kyle Gresick come off of this restart. He had the restart for the first caution that we had, and he just got to an absolutely blistering start. Just left the field completely standing still. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's able to do here in a second.
Here we go. Restarts coming. Perezzini's gone already. He's gone. Took it before the line. 2.7 seconds of a gap. And we're once again back racing here at Charlotte for this final of the Triple Bypass Cup Series final round. Perezzini's just got to win or be in the top 10 and he will be champion. So from Perezzini's point of view, although he's leading, he doesn't need to lead. The field are all nicely bunched up currently at the moment. There's a few laps. Herzog is a lap down. Cat is 3 laps down, and Kona is currently out. here this evening. So unfortunately for Kona, he is out. But the racing must commence, and it is commencing with Grzyk and Perezzini. Perezzini kind of get pushed out to that little bit of a high line at the moment. That's allowing Roethlisberger to come in underneath him.
Yeah, but there's no stress. Allow these guys to kind of race and just hold on to your tires. You don't have to win. You don't have to worry too much. You know, obviously you don't want to go too far back. He's about to lose another position here to Hanlon, dropping back into 4th place, but still, being inside that top 5, perfectly safe. So, you know, just kind of keep your nose clean. Don't try to overdrive the car. Don't try to do too much. Just keep the race in front of you, and you got this championship locked in.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree. As we see action further moving through the field is John Crutchley. It's just gone past John Campbell there in the very nice Dunkin'. I believe that's the Dunkin' Donuts livery.
That's Krispy Kreme. That's Krispy Kremes.
Is it Krispy Kremes?
Yeah.
You know, still, food.
I would assume you probably never had Krispy Kreme.
We have actually. We get them over here in the UK.
They have Krispy Kreme in the US or in the UK now?
Yeah.
Do they have the stores, or do you just get the donuts?
Oh, we get.
See,
now that
the whole thing about Krispy Kreme is they make the donuts like fresh in store. So if you're not getting them from like a Krispy Kreme location, then you're not really getting the Krispy Kreme experience. Now, I'm not saying that Krispy Kreme are the best donuts. I'm just saying if you want to try Krispy Kreme, you have to go to an actual Krispy Kreme. They have like a conveyor belt with all the donuts in them. You can like watch them making the donuts and dipping them and everything. But yeah, Krispy Kreme fresh out of the oven. Ooh, good stuff.
Yeah, no, we don't have that. I'm not gonna lie.
You're missing out, bud. You're missing out.
We'll get the point of where you can buy the donuts, not the actual
It's not
stores.
the same. It's just not the same. Although I'm not sure what kind of drink that is. I've been trying to figure it out. I would assume it's some sort of
Frappe.
coffee, frappe, something like that. But I don't know, maybe. I think a Krispy Kreme milkshake would be pretty good. I think I'd have to give that a try.
Oh yeah, can you imagine that? The
Ooh,
nearest,
as we talk about, I'm touching the wall.
nearest Krispy Kreme shop to me is about 20. No, it's in. Where is that? That is in Cardiff. So it's a long way away from me. Let's just put it that way. So no chance of me getting to the store. I've got a lot of like little sub stores that obviously sell the donuts, but I haven't actually got.
Yeah.
You know,
That's not.
an actual
I mean, I'm
store
sure they
stock.
get them fresh enough that they're good. Don't get me wrong, but like, if you're going for the Krispy Kreme experience, like I said, I'm not saying they're the best donuts out there. They're not necessarily my favorite donuts, but and that is the 01 car blinking really bad. That is Daniel Schell just coming back. Looks like he's kind of settled down a little bit, but that was a pretty big blink there for a moment.
Yeah, there's a couple.
If I'm Al Corey, I'm a little concerned about that 01 on the outside of my car while it's blinking.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who seem to be having little bits of spikes here as well. ESK, good luck, gents. Looking forward to getting out there with you guys next season. Well, there you go. You get to be famous and be on YouTube, sir. So what more can you ask for here as well, as we see Al Corey there lose another position with John Barton also battling away with Ryan Hyatt. Hyatt has just gone past him and is now looking at moving on to the back of Corey. Same with Grzyk up front with Roethlisberger. Grzyk has gone through as we're approaching the 100 mark now before we go into the last 69 laps. 72 remaining here at Charlotte. And well, it's been that game of chess that was expecting, Michael, I think, here already.
Yeah, and I said this earlier and I'll say it again, watching these two battles here, there's so many different lines that these drivers can take here at Charlotte that it's nice to see them go back and forth so quickly. Just a moment ago, we saw Roethlisberger passing Grzyk, but Grzyk was out front, and he's probably going to have an opportunity here coming down into turns 3 and 4 to, possibly use the draft and get back right behind the 93 there of Roethlisberger. So this is definitely far from over. As you said, we're coming up to almost the 100 lap 100 mark, so we're definitely past the halfway point. I do want to say it's nice to see Barton back out there. He was involved in that early incident, and seeing him not only back out there but back on the lead lap and making some moves back up the field, trying to get into the top 10. It's nice to see Barton doing that.
Definitely as well. We've only had 2 cautions altogether. One was by Herzog coming out the pits, which we thought was a little bit soft, I'm not going to lie. And then, of course, it was Kona, Roethlisberger, and Cat and Crutchley were also involved in the first forced caution here on track as well at Charlotte. We've hit the 100 mark, 69 to go now. Are we thinking fuel? Are we thinking tyres? What's going through our heads at this stage of the race right now, Michael?
I think right now you're thinking about conserving your tires as much as you possibly can. You know you can make the fuel stretch quite a bit. You know, you don't have to stop for another 30, 40 laps, but I really think right now you're just trying to conserve the tires. That's the most important thing. Fuel has to be, you know, 1B right now. So it's got to be obviously on your mind, but nowhere near the front of your mind.
Okay, we talk about conserving tyres, right? We're on a track that we primarily just turn left. In fact, we always turn left. How are we doing that on this circuit? How are we managing to preserve tyres when you're trying to go fast, you're trying to go the fastest route possible? You know, what's the situation with that?
It's all about entering the turns. If you can kind of lift and coast into the turn, that gives you a little bit of leeway on, you know, as you're coming through, say, turn 1 into turn 2. Your car wants to kind of scrub its way up the track a little bit, so that sideways motion obviously is just tearing your tires up a little bit by bit by bit. You're losing traction ever so slightly, whereas if you lift up a little bit before the turn, it kind of just drops the nose a little bit and gives you a little bit more front end grip, and you're able to kind of get on the gas a little sooner. That just kind of conserves your tire a little bit. You'll see it here, just a slight little lift right there as he's coming into the corner. Nothing much, but it's enough to really just kind of get the weight transfer around a little bit as he comes out and taps the wall. We've seen pretty much everybody at some point or another hitting the outside wall coming out of turn 4 today.
Yeah, definitely have here as well. So we see these guys coming whizzing past us, they're shaking the camera with pure speed that they're going currently at the moment here. And what more can we ask for at this amazing circuit once more here, as they're hitting well over 272 kilometers an hour. And Jason Benson there doing an absolutely stellar job as well. Let's have a look at what that would be if we were putting it in mph, of course, because obviously kilometers an hour is completely different. About 174 miles, 185, 186 miles an hour. It's quite a fast-paced circuit, isn't it, this one? It's not a super speedway, it's not a full bean, flat, foot to the floor, just go for it. You have got to lift at certain places.
Yeah, but it's still a mile and a half. You still have plenty of speed. The banking allows you to really just kind of coast through the turns a tiny bit and get back on the gas. And the draft is very strong here, so these drivers are able to, you know, not only just hold on to each other, but push each other through. Obviously, they're not doing too much bump drafting tonight, but they are able to just kind of just stay in the airflow that's created by the car in front of them, which really just breaks up the air a little bit, creates a lot less drag on the front end of their car, and allows them to just kind of keep their speed up. So that's basically how the draft works. And these drivers are very, very, very good at, you know, keeping their race clean and staying within, you know, that draft of the car in front of them.
Yeah, I think that's shown by the fact that we've only got 2 cautions. I think, you know, that's a part and parcel of the, you know, the racing. I think it just shows the quality of the racing. As we said, officials can just be a death trap. I don't ever go, I've always fancied having a, you know, pushing almost like we do in the iRacing with a 13-week season. You know, I'd love to push a 13-week season in NASCAR, but I don't think I could mentally take the stress of doing a 13-race official season. I think it would just drive me incredibly crazy, to be honest. And I don't think I'd ever probably start from the grid once. I'd probably start from the pit lane most of the time anyway, because of the fact that it just can be a complete and utter wreck fest.
Don't the NASCAR leagues, don't they run a full season? I don't think they stick to the 13-week seasons.
Yeah, I know they don't. They run at various different times. More and more leagues are going over to that 13-race calendar, though. They're not using... Sometimes they're picking their own tracks, they're not necessarily using the official circuits, but some have started going over to that 13, 14-week period now within iRacing to use that as almost like a steady schedule. I think there's more and more swapping over now in iRacing to that, rather than they are just basically randomly saying, right, on week 6, we're going to put a league on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know for certain the P-Cup Challenge League on Thursdays and Sundays, they do follow the official maps, and they do run that 13-week season. Well, really, I guess it's more of a 12-week season with a fun 13th week.
Yeah.
But, you know, I do know a lot of leagues that do follow, not necessarily the official races like you said, but the calendar to kind of keep on track. And it helps a lot of people kind of, you know, easily keep the season under wraps. You know, they can plan things out a little bit further because, you know, they're able to keep that steady schedule. They can kind of look forward into the season and say, you know what, here, this is a week that I want to focus on to practice as much as I possibly can, because, you know, maybe I'm a little weak at this track, or maybe, you know, it's the track that I'm really strong at and I just want to take advantage as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with that one as well. You know, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's easier when somebody else picks a calendar for you, but I think, you know, outside of that, if you're trying to incorporate road courses that might not necessarily be on the official calendar of the NASCAR series, or you want shorter tracks, say for instance like we do at JPB with the Clio Cup, we obviously run shorter tracks because obviously, you know, I don't like staring at a 9-minute Nordschleife lap in a Clio. It just wouldn't interest me. I'd rather, you know, tomorrow we've got them driving around Orem Park, you know what I mean? A nice little short track, and that's what they've been used to, the guys who drive them. You know, I think some people like necessarily picking tracks, and I'm one for that as well. I'm an advocate for picking tracks. I think sometimes that you've then got the style of racing that you want out of that league, and as I say, officials ain't bad, and the official calendars, if you want to follow them, that's fine. But we are finding more and more leagues airing outside of the official schedule and looking at making their own track list there as well. And Grizik is just about to have David Schell drop down on the low side as Grizik runs it up high here as well on a lap 115. Don't get me wrong, Grizik is not going it up without a fight here. Schell and Hanlon. Hanlon's also swapping positions with Schell as well. And Matt Herzog looks like he's trying to get himself involved in just using these guys as a bit of a tow around, saying thank you very much, help me out here, because this is where we look at this situation now. If this was a road course, Michael, and this was road cars, you and I both know that I would be screaming about now with blue flags.
Yeah, but Kyle Herzog, we know he's fast. He was obviously battling for the lead before that incident happened, coming into the pit lane. Or it was coming out of the pit lane, I apologize. We know he's fast. We know he's a lap down right now, but he has every right. So we see that 01 card blinking one more time. He has every right, if he's faster here and he's able to safely do it, to get his lap back. So I know in road racing, especially, you know, you're very, very, very fond of the Formula 1 blue flag rule, where if you have a blue flag, if you are a lap down, you need to just get out of the way no matter what. Yeah. But in certain situations, I don't see a problem with somebody trying to get their lap back, because if they're fast, they're faster than the cars in front of them, why should they have to slow down?
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
if anything. I'm faster than you, why do I have to give you the handicap?
Well, are we talking about road course now? Or are we talking about NASCAR? Because I'm not saying
I
you
think
necessarily have
that
to.
it can happen in road course racing. You know, somebody has an incident. You know, that they have to get a little bit of damage worked on in the front end of their car or something like that in a road course. But once they get that damage repaired, and it's not a very long repair, they're able to come back out and just lap faster than everybody else. So maybe during that repair they were, lapped. They were lapped down, but they're faster than the midfield cars that they're currently lapping against. Like, why shouldn't they be able to, push forward and try to get that lap back? Maybe a caution comes out later in the race that gets them on the tail end of the field and they're able to kind of push forward. Like, I don't see a problem with it. I think in certain situations.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying I see a problem with it. Don't get me wrong. I just think in NASCAR we don't really abide to the blue flags. I think it's just completely pointless because, as you say, anything can happen. And Herzog's got the right to be racing where he is currently at the moment because, as you say, it doesn't take much to get that lap back. And I think that's the thing that people misunderstand on NASCAR itself. I think he's more entitled to go for it. Herzog, you're there, you're settling in. Marty Rogers is in the pits, Brian Cooper's in the pits. He's keeping up with the leaders. We know he's quick in general, so go for it, son. We'll have a chat about road courses on Wednesday.
We will have a chat about road courses. This is true. But I do think someplace that we differ is I think you try to apply the blue flag rule to a majority of racing, whereas I think it only has... Ooh, that was very, very close there. Grzyk, I wonder if he was able to... Oh, he had to back out. Grzyk had to back out. He was going down into the pits, and then the last second, I think he was going way too fast, and he had to back out.
Yeah, I think he's gone round again, but he has dropped himself down the order currently at the moment in 6th place there. A failed pit entry, should we say, for Carl Grzyk. And he's now all the way down in 6th place. David Schell is there as well. Keith Hanlon has dropped down and gone into the pits. Is Grzyk going to have another go? No. I'm wondering if he got loose then, Michael, rather than trying to go into the pit lane.
Yeah, maybe he got a little too low coming off turn 4 down on the apron, got loose and just had to back out of it. And, I mean, it was very, very interesting. We saw the very tail end of it. We didn't get a clean, clear picture of what happened, but that's probably the most likely scenario. He got a little too low. I mean, he was doing a great job there. The only car in front of him was Roethlisberger, who was, by and far 3.5, 4 seconds up the field on the rest of these guys. So obviously Roethlisberger knows exactly what he's doing, and he is just on his own kind of planet right now. But these guys have been battling really clean behind him, and it's just kind of interesting to see Grzyk just kind of fall off there out of nowhere.
Definitely did there as well. But as you say, we get on lap 124. In hindsight, you know, there is that possibility of the fact of looking after your tyres. You want to make sure, was that an issue that we've been looking at? With it's a different scenario, isn't it, here this evening in this kind of racing? Matt Perezzini and David Schell still side by side currently at the moment, and I got a funny feeling that Perezzini, well, we talk about it religiously and we can talk about it continuously, and we tell him continuously as well. There's no real reason for him to at any point in this whole entire race, as he drops down into the pit lane now, make any crazy mistakes anyway. John Crutchley has managed to get himself up into 5th place here currently for this race as well on lap 126. We've only got 43 remaining here, and it's been a swift lap as well. Don't get me wrong, these guys have been doing an absolutely stellar job and keeping these cars on track and not having many incidents, which is absolutely amazing. Marty Rogers down here with John Barton in front of him currently at the moment. So Barton there in front with Campbell. We've also got Cat still out on track, running here in the number 2 car. It's great to see him out still on the circuit currently at the moment. Oliver Turan is still out in the 002. Nice jet black livery. Looking good, looking good. for some reason, minimum effort but maximum impact. Do you know what I mean? On liveries like that.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've always loved that jet black look, the matte black, whatever you want to call it. It's always been just when you have a color like a blue or a green, or in this case a yellow, you know, it just pops so well. It just looks so clean. I absolutely love it. I do want to jump over to Pericini real quick. I thought that was the absolutely perfectly timed pit stop there. He's completely good to go to the end of the race on fuel. He's got plenty of rubber to make it to the end of the race. He never even dropped out of the well, okay, I guess he's in 12th place right now, so he's just outside of the top 10. But he's in a great position. Pretty much everybody in front of him has to pit, so he doesn't have to worry about anything. You know, he might not end up winning this race, but that was never the goal. You know, Roethlisberger, I mean, bar some sort of crazy incident happening, Roethlisberger has this race locked up already. You know, we still have another 39 laps here, so it's probably the best opportunity here for Pericini to go in, just get it done, get it over with, get your fresh rubber, and, you know, pretty much stay out of trouble for the rest of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. No need to over push it at all for him. He's got what he needs, he's doing what he needs, and he is showing why he is leading this championship. John Barton down here still with Marty Rogers battling away, and Al Corey all the way down in 10th place currently at the moment. Keith Hanlon is nearly a second in front of him at this moment in time, so great stellar job by these guys here as well. Best times on the left hand side now you are looking at currently at the moment. Pericini is down in 11th place here, so he's going to be obviously working his way through. He's on pit stop number 3. There are still guys on 2, and for some reason I got Carl Griesick only on 1 pit stop on lap 70. So Carl Griesick there is definitely doing some very good tyre saving there, Michael.
Yeah, definitely able to stretch it that far. That's insane. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked by that. Everybody else is on 2 pit stops. We've got our championship leader Pericini on 3, but I think we're going to see Pericini moving back up the field quite rapidly here now that he's on that fresh rubber, and pretty much everybody in front of him has to pit still. But Kyle Grezik just having a great race. We did see that one strange little incident where he kind of jumped down to the bottom of the apron and then had to come back up, and I'm not sure if he got loose like you said or what, but aside from that incident, he's been absolutely on fire tonight. Great race here by Kyle Grezik.
Yeah, definitely as well. And obviously we've still got Roethlisberger out in front currently at the same time as well. So Kyle Roethlisberger is out in front currently in this race as well. John Barton still down here now. He's got the car beside him currently at the moment. Marty Rogers is 6/10 in front. Oliver Turan 3.2 seconds back at this current time on lap 34 with 35 to go here as well. And what a great evening of racing this has been, Michael, I think.
Yeah, I think this has been very solid. We've seen some great green flag racing. Only 2 cautions, and aside from that, even and the second one was really just kind of a funny caution that the flag even came out. So really, I think we've only had 1 true caution tonight. Been great, great clean racing.
Yeah, that weird one with Herzog was a little bit light, wasn't it? Let's be in conjunction to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It must have been something that triggered iRacing to throw that yellow out, but he was I thought he was well below the apron. I didn't see anybody too close to him, so I thought he had saved it. Coming out of the pits on cold tires, he probably just goosed it a little too much and got loose. He did touch the inside wall, so maybe that's what iRacing saw and threw the flag, but yeah, I think that was kind of a weak flag there. It really did help him out quite a bit, though, to kind of recover from that situation.
Yeah, he definitely did there as well, and you know, it's allowed him to come back through the order for Herzog, and is now currently sitting down in 8th place here at this moment in time. Top 10 currently: Roethlisberger, Hyatt, Shell, Griesick, Crutchley, Benson, Barton, Herzog, Handlin and Perezzini. The man that can wrap up the championship sitting in 10th place in what is kind of his minimal, but I'm sure more is to follow from Perezzini, and he will look at moving up a little bit further here as well. And this battle here with John Barton is not going away. They are still battling each other tooth and nail here, and what a stellar job both of these drivers have done to start moving forward and battling away quite nicely. So something to look forward to for the last, nearly 27 laps here before the end of this race. And it's been a battle of wits, a battle of the mind, mentally and physically, I think, Michael, on this one.
Yeah, it's definitely been a mental battle, that's for sure. We have seen a lot of clean racing, and these drivers have given enough space, but as we see John Barton trying to make the move down to the bottom here, is he going to be able to make it stick? It looks like he's got a nose out. We're going to have to see coming down the back straight here if he's able to hold on to it coming into the turn 3. It looks like he should be able to hold on. And yeah, that is going to be done and dusted, but the 32 is not able to come back on him, so that is a move there for Barton on Rogers.
Yeah, it definitely is. Barton is through, and I'm sure these guys are not going to be the last situation here as well. I'm sure they're going to be still fighting it out. Pit stops coming underway. Roethlisberger has gone in here as well. Griesick has gone in for his second one on lap 138 there, Michael, and that's definitely going to take him to the end, isn't it? I would have thought.
Yeah, no, anybody that's able to pit now is definitely getting to the end of the race. I'm a little surprised that some of these drivers up front haven't pitted yet, but Perezzini already back up into 6th place here, so top 5 is almost guaranteed for him tonight. Unless something crazy happens, Perezzini is going to be your championship winner. I really do think that was a perfectly timed pit stop for him to come in that early. So we see Roethlisberger still kind of falling down. It looks like he's coming into the pits no, I apologize. That's Shell coming to the pits right now.
Yeah, it's already
Benson takes the lead.
So, well, it's definitely going to be an exciting one, guys, as we're coming round to the last part of the race. Don't go anywhere, because you're not going to want to miss any of this action here as well, with Barton, Griesick and Hyatt mixing it up in the midfield. Then we've got Herzog back into 2nd place. Perezzini can be your champion at the end of this one. He's just got to stay inside the top 10 currently at the moment for Perezzini, and he's doing an absolutely stellar job and doing everything he needs to do, to be honest, Michael. I think he's driven absolutely perfectly.
He's just done everything that he needed to do tonight stellarly, staying out of trouble when he has that opportunity to go 3 wide, saying, you know what, no thanks, I'm going to go ahead and back out, let you two battle it out. Well-timed pit stops, able to make his tires stretch out and last, but not asking too much of them, not asking too much of his fuel distance, just everything. He's just absolutely nailed perfectly so far tonight, and all he's got to do is just bring it home for these last 25 or so laps.
Definitely has, and I think he will do it as well. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Oliver Turant here in the 002, fighting it out with Schnell in the 01, and Hyatt and Griesick. I think Griesick's going to make a move and probably look at breezing past on this one here as well, and he will be looking to move up as well, I think, Michael, as probably as quickly as he can, coming to, considering we've only got 25 to go.
Yeah, down to 25 laps here. And it's been a great recovery drive here by Hyatt. Hyatt had that incident right there towards the beginning of the race. I believe he hit the wall before the caution came out.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was involved in the caution itself. But either way, yeah, he was down a lap. He was having a lot of issues there at the beginning of the race, and now moving back up into the top 10, up into 7th place. He does have a lot of pressure coming from Kyle Griesick right behind him, but a great recovery drive tonight for Ryan Hyatt.
Yeah, absolutely as well. He's done an absolutely stellar job. and is sitting in 7th place. Perezzini there with Roethlisberger closing an absolute rate of knots here. Is he going to be sweeping around the outside? Is he going to make this free?
Great view here. See if he's able to. He's going to look to the inside, and if you're Perezzini, you just let him go. There's no reason to defend that. Maybe you kind of follow along. Maybe you jump into his draft, try to tag along with him, because clearly Roethlisberger is heading towards the front of the field. He is the driver that is out to win this race. He is chomping at the bit to get back up front, and he has had the pace in hand all night long.
Yeah. Absolutely. Again, as we say it numerous amounts of times, no need to fight. No need to fight at all. Keith Hanlon just going past Herzog here. So he is fighting it out for what is effectively second and third on track. 22 to go. Who's going to struggle with tyres? Who's going to struggle with fuel, Michael, you reckon?
I think I'm going to go with Herzog. I think Herzog is definitely going to have some issues here. He is off of the pit cycle, the pit window cycle, so here towards the end of the race, he's definitely going to be hurting for grip, I think. Roethlisberger, on the other hand, already up into second place. I think it's going to be his race to lose at this point. Benson is just up the road from him. Oh, no, Benson is in the pits, so
yeah.
That puts Roethlisberger back on top with Hamlin behind him, and Perezzini up in the third place. So, been a very slow, long game played here by Perezzini, but it's working out quite nicely in his favor all night long.
Perezzini pitted on lap 125. So he's going to have gone 44 laps on tyres.
Yep, and these guys have been able to stretch these tires 70 plus laps, so.
Ooh. Benson is just coming out, I believe. I think he's just coming out of the pits. Yeah, he is. He's just exiting out the pits. I did wonder why he was going slow. But Hanlon and Perezzini battling away for second place. 20 to go inside the final 20. Is this where you're moving that queen into position to checkmate that king, Michael?
Absolutely. This is the time to make the move. If you got one, just go for it here. Now, if you're Perezzini, you want to be a little bit more cautious, but if you're Hamlin or Roethlisberger, just go for it. You got nothing to lose at this point. Perezzini is the only person up here in the top three that has anything to lose.
Yeah, definitely that as well, and he's going to definitely try and be careful about it. That is Benson in front in the 42. Obviously, he's just come out of the pits. We are probably half expecting him to pull away from Perezzini with 19 laps on the clock left to go. So let's see how these guys get on for the last 19 laps. We've lost 2 so far. Brian Cooper is out, and Josh Kona is out, and Josh was out on lap 61. Brian Cooper on lap 119. What did actually happen to Brian Cooper?
I'm not sure that we saw that.
That's because Brian Cooper entered the pits completely on his own and did not come back out again.
Okay, he must have been having a
rough
night.
I was going to say that's why we didn't see it. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss anything with Cooper there as well, but he's went into the pits and dropped out. Herzog's got into the pits here, Michael, which we said he might struggle, and he has done, and now he's gone into the pits. Turan, Marty Rogers, Oliver Turan and John Crutchley are very close together. The old scoreboard can't even keep up to which way they are at the moment either, but it is Crutchley in front of Turan, and Al Corey, well, was in front of Shell. I got a funny feeling Shell's going to run around the outside.
Yeah, it looks like Al Corey's just kind of sitting still there for a moment. I know it was just the run that Shell had, but it almost looked like Al Corey lifted off the gas completely. We see Herzog coming back onto the track, but he's going to be a lap down here. He was definitely off of that pit cycle, so unfortunate for him, but he was going to have to make that pit stop no matter what.
Now, 16 laps on the clock here, ladies and gentlemen, of the Nudge Vegan Energy 169 live from Charlotte with myself, James Barker and Michael David in the booth here, bringing you all this action. Ryan Hyatt He's got Kyle Griesig about 4 tenths back currently at the moment as well. So he's got 15 laps to try and produce some goods here. Currently sitting in 4th place. I think, to be honest with you, I think when you look at races like this, you know, these guys have done an incredibly stellar job. They've done an absolutely amazing job here, keeping the car on track. They've been at this now, what, for almost a couple of hours. So it's definitely a more mental game, isn't it, when you're doing long runs like this?
Yeah, it's definitely something that you got to keep your head down, keep your focus. It's so easy to just lose focus for just a split second. That's all it takes to tap a wall and ruin your race, you know, break a toe link. These toe links are so fragile here. You know, we've seen it before. It doesn't take much for one of these next gen cars to get into the front right of that wall there, the front right of the car, and just absolutely just blow your race. So you're Parasini, you got to keep your head down, but he's doing a great job. He's got a 3.75 second gap to Roethlisberger, but he's dropping Handlin like no other, so he's absolutely in no stress right now. 12 laps to go. I think if you're Parasini, you're just hanging on there, man. This is where the mental toughness comes in. But he's got 2 wins out of 10 races, and 7 of those 10 races are top 5 finishes.
Consistency is the key then, if that's what we're looking at from that point of view. Absolutely. And he's just shown all season long that he's able to keep that focus, that he's able to keep his head down and just do what he's got to do. Yeah, absolutely. Last 11 laps currently at the moment. Closest battles, Crutchley and Barton. Higher and Griesig. You see both of them in the shot together there as well. And of course, Benson is down here currently with Dustin Barton, and these guys are just about to be lapped by our leader. Zach Roethlisberger is going to take another victory here this evening as well, I'm going to believe. He's done 8 races, 5 victories. Well, makes you wonder where he would have been if he'd finished a full season.
Seriously, this dude has just absolutely smoked the field tonight. He's just been the class of the field. I think we've seen how consistent Parasini can do, or can be. We see him as the champion, because obviously he earned the championship. But that being said, Roethlisberger, just out of the gun, just starts from the back of the field, and just absolutely dominates the field. So it's been a great race for him, and we can see what could have been for sure on display here tonight.
Yeah, this could have been for the overall championship here as well, and it would have been an interesting fight with Roethlisberger and Parasini. He is just coming up now. Lapped Rogers. He's got Benson next on his list here as well. He's done an absolute stellar job. 8 laps to go. Still flying. Closest man behind him is Matt Parasini, who we know has just got finished in the top 10 for the championship. So Matt's not going to be pushing this situation any harder than he needs to. Ryan Hyatt is now with Keith Hanlon, and Hyatt just takes the inside line. Job done for him. Kyle Griesig coming through, is looking at trying to come through as well here, but he just doesn't look like he's got the pace at the moment, Griesig, of Hanlon and Hyatt here in front of him.
Yeah, these two battling it out definitely seem like they're holding on pretty well, but as we say that, we see Griesig kind of coming in the back here, so maybe he does have a little bit more pace in hand. Maybe he was just kind of holding off a little bit just to see what was going to happen between these two and kind of pick his way in. So it looks like he's taking that bottom line. Hanlon's been up on that middle to high line, and he's losing touch with Hyatt now, so the draft is just going to be right here in Gresig's in Gresig's way, and it looks like Gresig is going to have the move done by the time they come around to the start-finish line.
Yeah, definitely is it. Job done and dusted. 6 to go from Charlotte. Roethlisberger out in front. Benson is battling. Barton is battling as well for these positions. Do you think now, though, Michael, some of these drivers latter down the order, should we say, like Barton, like Benson, and now doing it for pride? They want to beat that person in front of them?
Oh, of course. Just because you might not win the race doesn't mean you can't push as much as possible and battle who you're closest to. You want to be able to move up the field as much as possible. You don't want to just sit back and say, "Oh yeah, hurrah!" I took last place. Great for me. Nobody wants to be last. They might not be up to the front of the field at this point with 5 laps to go, but they can still race whoever they're by, and they can still make an impression. This is the last race of the season. You want to finish strong, as strong as you possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan Hyatt is trying to do that with a podium here. 4 to go now. We're getting down to the end of the race. It's coming after 169 laps. Unbelievable when you think of that. Straight run, no stage breaks, no real reliefs, to be honest. We've only had 2 forced cautions through the whole entire race. 2 forced cautions through the whole entire race. It's been absolutely incredible driving from these guys, and yeah, amazing. 3 to go, and it's I don't think you would ever really think that you would sit back and watch a race of this length and only see 2 cautions. I think you would instantly think you're going to see a few more from that.
No, I think I'm not really too surprised. Once these guys got some clean air, they're able to stretch it out a little bit. Field spread can become very, very, very potent here at a 1.5 mile long track like Charlotte here. So if you break away from that draft, obviously you're not battling door to door. Your caution flags aren't going to come out as much. So I'm not too surprised. Also, we know how clean these guys are driving. They all respect each other. They all give space. Nobody's here trying to overdrive the car and get into somebody's, quarter panel there and spin them. So this has been a really good race here so far as we follow along with the guy who's taking the white flag and will momentarily be taking that black and white checkered flag.
Yeah, Roethlisberger is going to win this race. He's too far ahead for anyone to do anything about him as he goes over the line. As much as we would love a big shout-out finish here as well, Roethlisberger has done what he needs to do. He takes the checkered flag here this evening. Job done for Zach Roethlisberger. Absolutely amazing. But more importantly, your champion is going to be Matt Perezzini, winning the Gen 4 on Thursday, now taking the Cup Series here this evening as well. And Ryan Hyatt has crossed the line in 3rd place. An absolutely stellar job from him. As we can see, Perezzini is your overall champ winner. He did what he needed to do, Michael. No mistakes, no errors, no slip-ups. Got it done.
He got it done. Not only did he get it done, but he got it done in 2nd place. What a phenomenal race by Perezzini. Just absolutely just keeping his head down, staying out of trouble, doing every single thing he needed to do. That being said, though, Zach Roethlisberger dominated the field, started from the back of the pack, didn't even throw down a qualifying lap, said, you know what, I'm going to put this on my shoulders. I'm going to have a good race tonight. Zach Roethlisberger, your winner, coming through, starting the back of the pack, and dominating.
Yeah, absolutely did there as well. And there are your final finishing positions on track currently at the moment. Zach Roethlisberger is your winner. Matthew Perezzini not only is your 2nd place man, but he is your Cup champion here this evening. Ryan Hyatt in 3rd, Carl Griesick 4th, Keith Hanlon 5th, Daniel Schell in 6th, Al Corey 7th, John Crutchley battled back into 8th in the end, a stellar drive from him. Jason Benson in 9th, John Barton 10th, Oliver Turan 11th, Dustin Barton 12th, Marty Rogers 13th, John Campbell 14th, Mark Herzog 15th, Derek Catt 6 laps down in 16th. For them, there's Brian Cooper and Joshua Kona, who we did lose here this evening as well. Let's see if we can bring Matt Perezzini into the booth. Your champion here this evening, your man who's taken the championship, double championship winner, took in the Gen 4 on Thursday, takes the Cup Series on Sunday, does an absolutely stellar job, does what he needs to do, crushes it, finishes 2nd. Matt, welcome in.
Hello, guys.
Hello, mate. How are you? How are you doing?
I am pumped, absolutely pumped. This championship was, 5 weeks ago, we were 50 points back of the leader. And in the last 5 weeks, we had no finishes worse than second. And we come back and we got this one. We earned it.
Yeah, absolutely there as well. Did what you had to do, Matt. We were talking to you as well briefly on the yellows, just trying to keep it out of any form of major issues. You did that. Absolutely stellar job. Well done overall, but you just did what you needed to do this evening.
Yeah, we did. The first run, I had a really hard battle with Rafter and just absolutely killed my tires, and that really hurt them. And then the second run, I changed my entry and my line a little bit, and that really helped to conserve them. I wish I could have been on equal tires with Zach, because I think we could have had a pretty good battle to the end there. But congratulations to him on the win, well deserved. But we did what we had to do, and my goal was to make sure I stayed on relatively the same pit strategy as Daniel and Marty, and we did that.
Yeah, absolutely, and to be honest, you've done an absolutely stellar job there, sir, as well. Well, really, Matt, all that's left for me to say is congratulations, double championship winner. We're going to see you back on track next season.
You bet you will. I probably won't be on track as much because, of course, summertime comes up and things start creeping up that affect your racing. But we'll be around. We'll still be going for some checkered flags for sure next season.
Well, awesome job, Matt. Thank you so much for joining us. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah. We've had a really good week. This is actually my third championship this week. We also won the championship in the LOL Truck Series as well on Monday night. So we had 3 championships and a second place in the TBP 87 series. We had a really good season. Just want to say thank you again to my wife, Leanne, my daughter, Johanna, for letting Dad come out and race with the boys and have some free time and have some fun. And these championships, I'm dedicating them to my dad. He's going through some health issues right now, and when I was doing this in real life on dirt, he was my crew chief, so he was a really important part of my racing, and I owe a lot to him. So these are for him, and I hope he gets better soon.
Awesome stuff. Well, get well soon here as well from everyone up in the booth within JPB. But Matt, thank you so much for having a chat with us. We'll look forward to having a chat with you maybe next season.
That sounds good. Thank you very much again for the broadcast, guys. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Take care, buddy. It's been a pleasure. Right, I want to have a quick chat with this man. I'm going to drop him in the stream room just to make sure he's aware. But I am going to bring in Al Corey here as well. Al, welcome into the booth. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Okay. How did your race go first off? Let's talk about the racing first this evening. How was your race overall?
My race was pretty dull, not much to report, just ran around in circles, pitted a couple times, and finished in, 7th or 8th or wherever it was. I didn't have leader speed, and I never really could make my tire savings pay off, so it was just sort of an average night for me.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Okay, now, Al, let's have a chat about your upcoming season within TB. What have you got coming up, and tell everyone how they can get involved.
Okay, super easy. So we've got a really exciting new season starting up. Next week is preseason. So all 3 races are open hosted. You can search for TBP for triple bypass. Search for TBP under hosted on Tuesday night, late models. Thursday night, Gen 4, and Sunday night, Cup with Next Gen, and also as a bonus on Wednesday nights, we're doing some road racing fun. So if you search next week and hosted for TBP, you're going to find us for some open hosted racing. If you want to jump right in and get signed up for next season, which will start in 2 weeks, you can just visit the link at the bottom of this video description, and we will happily get you signed up on Discord and for the race. But we are really excited about next season. We had a strong first season, and we're looking for some more drivers.
Well, there you go, guys. If you want to get yourselves involved, you can as well. It's been some incredible racing. You've seen how clean it is here as well. When you go 169 laps and you only have 2 cautions, that's an incredibly good, great feat in its own right as well. Al, thank you so much for joining me in the booth there, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I just would like to thank you and your broadcast team for being with us this season. It was an absolute gem of a broadcast each time you did it. And really thank you to all you and your crew.
Awesome stuff. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure being in the booth with you as well. And look forward to more next season there, Al. But for now, mate, you take care and have a good week.
Ta-ta for now.
Take care. Well, there you go, Michael. That's how they want to get yourselves involved as well. Well, how do we sum that up there, Michael, for this evening's racing?
Well, the championship winner showed how consistent he can be by finishing second place. But we also saw that if Zach Roethlisberger has anything to say about anything, he is absolutely stunningly fast and can dominate a race just like that.
Absolutely. Well, guys, don't forget, JPB have got the Rainbow Trust BDLV event on June the 11th. If you want to get yourselves involved, please do so. Links are down in the description below as well. Come and sign up for the BDLV. All money goes to charity, and I do mean all money. All money goes to the Rainbow Trust. But for tomorrow night, guys, we have got the Clio Cup returning from Oran Park Raceway. 35 Clios racing round Oran Park. It's well, going to be exciting, let's put it that way. But I think that brings us to the end here, guys, as well, from myself and Michael David up into the booth. For now, and as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we may see you on the track sometime. Good night.